Production.
What is poppin'? We're going to go over Exro technologies, right? So today is February the 10th and it's the Friday, so it ends the week. The next trading day here, if you're watching this video, is going to be the 13th of February. Shout out to the Discord and Reddit communities, by the way. There's been a lot of good feedback from the community towards me, and I'd like to welcome all you guys. If you want to join the Train Your Brain to Be a Money Printer Discord, if that's something you're interested in, you want to learn the charts, you want to start understanding technical analysis, reach out to me. I'd be glad for you guys to join. So let's get into it here, right? Exro technologies. This has become one of my favorite charts in the market. From a technical perspective, everything that we're looking for is setting up for us. Okay, so here we have a major zone. This is one of the most important zones in the chart here. It is a supply zone right now, right? It was previously a demand zone. We came here in 2020, 2021, finished off 2021, and the beginning of 2022 is when we finally broke below this zone, right? So another way you could look at it is this was our support, right? We broke below and now it's acting as resistance. Okay, we're looking at the weekly time frame here, and something that I want to point out to you guys is this specific pattern here. So right here we have a tweezer tops pattern, and what the tweezer tops pattern indicates is that there should be lower prices coming, right? If you're bullish on this from a macro perspective and then you're a long-term holder, this is fine. What we need to see here in this chart, this is again from a technical perspective, none of this is financial advice. This is all me, just my opinions on what I've learned from charts. What we need to see here is this 8 EMA, right? You see this line. This is the 8 EMA. We want to see that held. We want this price to come back to this 8 EMA, and it needs to be used as support from a bullish perspective. But say we don't hold that as support, right? Then what we need to rely on is the uptrend that's going on. Here we have a bullish move to the upside. From the low, we create a new high, right? So low, high, higher low. We create a higher high. All we're looking for is a higher low. We could potentially even revisit this zone to make sure it's support before we weaken this area, right? So it's just going to take more time to weaken this zone. Another way you could think of this, right? Supply demand. So right now, all that's happening is there is more outstanding shares in this zone than there is demand to buy in that zone. So it might just, this, I'm just throwing out numbers here, right? This is just me making up numbers. This isn't really true yet. But say there's 10 million shares here. Right now, there's only 2 million people buying. So we have more supply than demand. What it might take is a few more times coming in this zone, weakening that supply. So we go from 10 million to 8 million to 6 million to 3 million until we get more people buying in that zone, which would then make the demand higher than the supply, which would allow us to increase in price to go further up here. Again, I don't know how long that's going to take, but this is just what I'm looking at from a technical perspective. So again, here we have this tweezer tops pattern. We need to look for areas in which we could potentially come back to. First things first, this zone was our nearest resistance, so we could come back to test that as support. That would also line up with the 8 EMA, right? Say that doesn't hold, right? And things come back a little bit further. Well, we might want to look at this zone here. This was also, if you zoom back, the previous resistance. We came up to that zone once, twice. You could pull this back a little bit, right? Once, twice, 3 times. So that could be another zone. From here, that would be a 34% correction. But if we're looking at it from that weekly perspective, right, that could just be a perfect setup for a higher low to buy in for the continuation of this overall major uptrend we're seeing here. Let's see what we look like from a monthly perspective. So from a monthly perspective, we could just come back to that visit that AEMA, which is right around those levels that we were looking at, the $2 range. Okay. So that's the breakdown for Exro. I wouldn't be too scared just because we see a little bit of bearish price action. What we need to look for is a healthy correction that would give us the opportunity to buy the dip. That's the breakdown, guys. Peace.